Guys, so today we're going to be talking about the team competition we have coming up in marketing. So I'm going to put this in present. And so remember, our purpose is developing young leaders to better future global generations, and our ambition is to jump from Tier 4 to Tier 3 by July 31st, 2018. So the agenda, check-in, introduce tail competition, marketing, university relations in ISIC, branding, and then I'm also going to be talking about the tracker. So check in, how are you feeling, and what is your spirit animal? Make sure that you are texting me individually your answer to this so that I know you have watched the video, and you need to do that by 2 p.m. on Monday. And then what's coming in March? Let's compete. So we are going to be having a team competition in between Team Horizon and Team Daredevils. So it is going to happen from March 1st to 31st. And then it is whoever gets the most amount of approvals. And you need to get a minimum of 10 approvals per team to receive the prize. And then what's the prize? The winning team will receive $50 for each member as a conference refund. So this is pretty cool because just for winning the competition, once you meet the minimum of 10 approvals, then you basically get paid $50 per member of the team. So that's pretty cool. And then we're saying it as a conference refund, but basically you're getting paid to get those approvals. And then even if you weren't on the winning team, or even if you were and you were the best member, the top member overall will receive $100 back as a conference refund. And so basically you will get your entire conference paid for. And even if you didn't go to the spring conference, this still can count as your fall one or go towards another conference. But pretty much if you were the top member overall, you got the most amount of approvals compared to everybody, then you will get $100. And then we have a special prize that will kind of be going on March, April, and May. And then if it's an individual member, gets 7 or more approvals, they will get $100 to go towards an opportunity abroad. And then also, even if you aren't going abroad this summer, this can still be saved for another summer that you can use. And then what are some ways to start to get ahead and to win your competition? Marketing. So marketing has always been something that has sort of been a weaker point with keeping it consistent and in a routine for Ohio. But definitely now with the competition, we want to make sure that you guys are always doing this every week and having a good routine that you can stick with. So ways that we market at Ohio. One thing that we found is that physical marketing, so class pitches, tabling, meeting people at office hours, works so much more from getting people to open to approved than digital marketing. Digital marketing is great for getting people to make opens and to get a lot of people making an account, but to actually get people to go abroad with us, physical marketing is the best way to do that. So ways you do that are class pitches, which you guys are required to do one a week, tabling, which we hope that we will be able to have that scheduled at least once, hopefully twice per week coming up. Flyers. So this was something we were flyering a lot when we came back to school at the beginning of the semester, but now they've kind of been covered or moved around. So definitely you guys could print more out. You could make some that you can then post around the campus. And then emails, that's pretty much something that I do with sending out mass emails. But you guys can always contact people, contact leads that you have by texting, emailing, anything you want. And then university relations, which I will talk about in a second. So let's look at your resources. Let's look at some of the resources you guys have available to you in the oGV drive. So once you're in the ISIC Ohio University folder, you can see the class pitch sign-up sheet is here, which you guys all need to sign up for. I will send the link into our oGV chat too. And then you will click on oGV. And then you have some resources here for oGV, but mainly what you want to use for marketing is in the marketing folder. So there's a lot of stuff in here. There's a video, that's the Ellen video that you can show during a class pitch. There are flyers, and we have a lot of these you can use. Some of these you can use to post around places, like actually print them out, and then others you can use to post on social media. Then we also have resources for class pitches, example Facebook posts we've used in the past. It's basically just a lot of things like that to help you guys. So you have a lot of resources available to you. And then just a little bit more specifically about our university relations, we are recognized by the College of Business, so that's how we're able to get our opportunities to count for internship credit and things like that. And then we're also a part of the International Student Union, or ISU, and that's how we got to do things like Baker Bash because we are a part of the organization, so that's kind of how we got our spot, which is pretty cool. Then we're also partnered with GCP, or the Global Consulting Program. The way we do that is that people will go on their GCP internship and then they can go right into an ISIC exchange. So they basically get 2 internships abroad in one summer. And then OMSAR, that's the Office of Multicultural Student Access and Retention. And that we're working on that partnership now because we know that there are a lot of students in that organization that want to go abroad. So that's definitely one that we're excited about for the future. And then ways to make your own marketing material. So follow our brand. So as you can see, this slide is a little bit of a different color, and that's because this is following the ISIC Blue Book brand toolkit. So the way we do that is basically that ISIC has its own branding that we use for all marketing material that we want to keep aligned with everything so that everything looks cohesive and the same and that we can be recognized. And the way we do that is through the ISIC Blue Book, which basically has all of the information about how to market basically and the different colors we use and the different logos we have. So the best way to find that is usually just by Googling ISIC Blue Book. That's usually how I find it. And then it's a PDF that you can click on. And then in here, it basically just kind of answers all the questions you would have about advertising ISIC physically, digitally, when you're talking to people, when you're making, graphic design kind of things. So it basically just has some do's and don'ts on what to do. So for example, do sound real, young, aspiring, professional person, don't swear, use slang, pretty basic stuff. And then from here, there are some specific things that you guys need to know in terms of the logos we use, the font we use, and the colors we use. So you've probably seen this logo and this color blue before, and when you're using this logo, there are a lot of rules that kind of go with it. So you can't change the color of it. You can't really deform it in any way. I think there's a little bit more about that on this page. Yeah, so you can't really deform it. Can't change the color. You want to keep it always like that. And usually when you Google ISIC logo, this does come up, the correct brand aligned one. I think we also have it as like clip art in our Google Drive. But yeah, you pretty much just want to make sure you aren't using any old logos like these where it has the older blue and you're not changing the color or deforming it in any way. And then as for the colors that we use, this is the ISIC official color swatch. So the best way to use this is that I usually copy and paste the hex code that's found right here. So for example, we're using the ISIC turquoise. You can copy and paste that code. And then let's say we want to change the background to that color. Right now the background's ISIC blue. You can do custom. And then you have that color now. So that's a pretty simple way to use it. If you want to use any fonts or any background colors, you just copy and paste this code into the whatever color you're changing, and then it should show up. And it's really important that we do that because people do notice, the National Board does notice if we don't use the colors, so you always want to make sure you are using these 9 colors. And then as for the font that we use the Lato font. So this usually isn't always there when you're just looking on Google or on Word for fonts, but then if you just click search more fonts or add fonts, it usually does show up. And then we always use either the Lato, or really you can use like any kind of form of Lato, just make sure that it always is this font. And you can see on our slides, we pretty much always use that font. It's used here. And it's really important that you use that. And then it kind of just has more information, do's and don'ts in terms of just advertising ISIC to people, stuff about our why, how, what. It's pretty basic. It has a lot of information, so I would definitely recommend reading through this just so you have a good idea of what to do, maybe something you have been doing or telling people you thought was right but actually wasn't. And it really is good about answering a lot of questions. So like here's more colors. You can use the hex codes. So it really is a great resource for all things branding. And I definitely open this a lot, especially when I'm making different materials so that I can use the colors that they have, so I make sure I'm using it right. And then just some basics that kind of main things I want you guys to take away from that is that you always use the Lato font. Always. You can find that. I think I also have like a zip code thing, not zip code, but zip file of it that I can send you guys. And then the colors we have, the hex codes are in the book. I showed you, you can copy and paste them. And then using the right logos. So always using the right Blue Man or Walking Man logo, and always using the right ISIC logo. And then trackers. So definitely something that was kind of lacking last week that we really want to make sure is really strong so that the national board can see how hard we're working and so that we can see how hard we're working is that we fill out our tracker. So to help you guys out, just so you kind of know around how many you should put every week, here are our goals for March. So we want to have 65 applicants in March, 40 acceptances, and 30 approvals. And that may seem like a lot, but honestly, with the team competition going on and how motivated you guys will be to get some money, we're pretty sure that this can definitely be achieved. So to help you guys out with what this means for you is how this will break down. So we want 65 applicants divided by 8 members, you guys. That is around 8 applicants per person. And then 40 acceptances divided by 8 members, 5 acceptances per person. And then 30 approvals divided by 8 people is around 4 approvals per person. So let's look at this in terms of the Ohio tracker. So I'm going to be filling this out under Ross's, just so you guys can get an idea of what you want to do. And then when you go in to fill your tracker, either tonight or tomorrow, because you also need to have this done by tomorrow, I would say just by tomorrow evening you have to have this done, and I will be checking and Sam will be checking, and we're going to make sure you guys are filling it out. But I am going to fill it out for the month of March on his, just so you guys can kind of look at his so you can get an idea. And then also I like blocked out, dark grayed out these sections that I don't really want you guys to worry about. So things like department meetings, student club meetings, that's like if you actually meet with the department head of an organization. Attraction events are kind of like special things that go on, so we can change that if they come up. And then all of this, realize complete. The iOS step in OPS is kind of something I worry about. It's not really something you're tracked on. And then obviously, realize complete won't really happen until May. And then testimonial videos and photos won't really happen until after they come back from their exchange. So I blocked this out on all of your guys, so don't worry about those. But you do need to fill out the ones that are not blocked out. And even if it is 0, which really none of them should be, we still need you to put 0. So let's start with Ross's. So applicants, like we said, we want each person to have 8 applicants. So by week, that is about 2 applicants per week. So you would put that under the P because that is the plan that you set. 2 per week. And then hours tabling, that will probably be about 1 hour per week. I would probably just put 1 for now, and then we can always change it to more if we end up adding more tabling time. For now, we can do 1. And then classroom shouts, you guys are all required to do at least 1, so I would definitely start out with putting 1. I recommend putting more. You should all fill that out with at least 1 because you all need to be doing that at least once a week. And then Facebook University group posts, this can kind of just be summarized as not just Facebook, but like any social media post, and then that's just kind of based on you guys, like whatever you guys want to do, so I can leave that up to you guys to fill out. And then accepted, so let's look back at what our goal was. We wanted 40 accepted, so that's 5 per person, so we can split that up. 1, we do 2 this week, 1, and 1. So then that's 5 overall for the month. And then we wanted 30 approvals divided by 8, 4 per person. So that's easy, 1 per week. Okay, and then what I just did, it took literally like maybe 30 seconds. I just want you guys to all go through your trackers and fill this out by tomorrow night.